Season 24 was the biggest roller coaster of emotions I've been on in Pokemon Unite. There were many different highs and many different lows, and it's easy to remember all the lows because in my case there were many of them. I reached Masters with a negative win rate, which was something I wasn't proud about at all. I didn't reach the season sticker, 1600, I didn't even reach 1500. And it felt like there were many negatives in the season. It felt like the season was overall a failure for me. But then I took a step back and tried to remember the highs. The best moments of the season, and I had actually many of them. And I wanted to talk about this because I think this video might be helpful if you struggled last season. If you felt like last season was a struggle for you, then you might find this video helpful. Hello everyone, this is the Business back with another video, and season 24 just ended and it was controversial for many different reasons. Well, I guess one big reason, that being changes to matchmaking. Now matchmaking is not good in most games and Pokemon Unite is no exception. It's tough in every game to balance things out, and in Pokemon Unite, it is rough for another reason. You see, the better you are, the rougher games you get. The better you are, the worse teammates you have. This is how matchmaking has always been in Pokemon Unite, and it makes the games incredibly tough because you're forced to carry your teammates. And the devs announced in Season 24 there's going to be changes to matchmaking. And in practice, or not in practice, but in theory, it sounded like it was going to be perfect. It sounded like this was what we always hoped matchmaking would be. But in practice, oh boy, were we wrong. It was incredibly painful, and you can let me know down below if you felt the same, if you felt games were easier, if you felt games were harder, if you felt it was about the same. I'm not sure, but for me, it was a lot tougher. I felt that I was washed, honestly. I didn't know what was going on. And calculations were done early on by people. They had determined that having a positive win rate was not going to be enough to reach the 1600 sticker this season. Only extremely high win rates, and by extremely high I mean like 55%, 56% and above, could realistically reach 1600 in solo queue. And that's like being generous too. It would take a much higher win rate in most cases. But like I mentioned earlier, to reach that point of trying to get to 1600, first you have to reach Masters. And I had a negative win rate when climbing last season. It was not just negative, it was very negative. There's probably a screenshot on the screen. I had a 47% win rate at some point. I don't know what was going on. I reached Masters not with a 47%. I reached Masters with a 49, I think 49.6, so technically you could say it rounds to 50, but it was a 49%. I don't remember how many games it took, but normally climbing the Masters never takes me this long. It felt like I had failed from the very beginning, and I didn't know what to do other than try my best and try and notice where I was making mistakes and try and correct for them. So that's what I tried to do. I tried my best to carry games and to fill games when I needed to play the best Pokemon Unite I could. And in many ways I did. After reaching Masters, I wouldn't say games got easier, but I would say that I improved. I think I was forced to improve. And I think that was one of the positives that came from this season. I think maybe I was just going on cruise control with Pokemon Unite before. I was winning games, losing games, I was kind of just having fun with the game. And at the end of the day, you should have fun with the game. But I didn't care too much about winning or losing. I was just kind of playing and having fun, and usually winning. But this past season, I had to force myself to try a little bit harder because for some reason, matchmaking just felt a lot more unforgiving. So I was forced to keep climbing, forced to keep trying, forced to keep innovating, and I did improve. I did see my quality of gameplay going up. I was carrying games more. I was dealing over 100,000 damage in games a lot more often. I was healing over 100,000 HP when playing supporters more often. I was playing the game, I think, the way it was actually supposed to be played, which is very weird to say that the matchmaking system did that for me, because I think that is the only major change I can see that happened in the game, was the changes to matchmaking. And I do see that my quality of gameplay has gone up significantly since last season. Now, granted, I was playing a lot more Unite last season because I was trying so hard to reach 1600, it just felt like I needed to do everything I could to reach it, but at the end of the day, I still wasn't able to do that, which stung a lot. But once I reached the end of the season, I did see something exciting. In a sense, exciting, because normally at the end of seasons, I'm around a 50% win rate player. Maybe 51%, I'm around 50 to 51% win rate. This season, I ended with a 52% win rate, or maybe 51.9 I think it was. But even being 51.9, it's a higher win rate than what I normally am in Pokemon Unite. So when I took another step back, I was noticing that, hey, I'm literally winning more games than I ever have before. I'm dealing more damage in more games than I ever have before. I'm healing more HP than I ever have before. Overall, this was the best season I've had in Unite. But the ELO doesn't reflect that. I mean, it reflects where I am, maybe, according to the game's eyes. Maybe the game really does think I'm at 1430, and I guess there's not much I can do about that, but the thing that I can do something about, my win rate, my damage, my healing, my damage taken, all of these different things I was improving in. Another big point I almost totally forgot about, Machamp is a Pokemon that I played a little bit in previous seasons. I haven't played it that much, but last season I fell in love with Machamp. It's a Pokemon that I just didn't really play that much, played it a lot last season. It was my second most played Pokemon, around a 60% win rate with it. I was loving it so much. I had discovered a new Pokemon, I mean, new in my eyes, because I hadn't played it that much, and then fallen in love with the gameplay, with the style of it. It just felt like such an incredible season for me. Even though my ELO was so low, even though all of these different things were very negative, even though my Climb the Masters itself was negative, the overall season was so incredibly good. And I guess one of the biggest takeaways to keep in mind is that Pokemon Unite, it's just a game at the end of the day. If you're grinding to reach 1600, I mean, if you have the time and availability to do it, go for it. But don't let 1600 be your ultimate goal. I mean, it can be a goal, but it's a very, very tough goal to reach, especially if they don't change things to how matchmaking works. I don't know if they will, I don't know if they should. If anything, I think more people were playing games because people were trying to reach it. So the devs might say, hey, this is great. More people are playing for longer because they really want to reach that goal. So maybe they won't change things. But your goal should be improving yourself. Improving the things that you can change. That's the only thing you truly can do in Unite. And that's something I discovered along the way while trying to climb. I was trying so hard to reach the 1600 goal, but the entire time I was forcing myself to improve myself, improve my gameplay, improve the different mechanics, improve my macro, my micro, improve everything so that at some point you can improve your overall quality of games. So yeah, I don't know if this made too much sense. It just felt like it was a rough season. It felt like it was the worst season in many ways, but also my best season in many, many other ways. Was my best season truly a failure? In my opinion, I don't think so. I think this was a great season for me. Even though I didn't reach that sticker, that's fine. And if they don't change matchmaking, I might never reach a sticker again. But at least I'll try and keep improving my win rate and improving my overall quality of games. Hopefully you all enjoyed, and I will be there in the next video. Cheers.